This is Roger's Crucial Tips. So welcome to anyone that wants to know about SSDs. What are SSDs? SSDs are solid state drives. Solid state drives, what do I need one for? Well, you need one because if you're using one of these, a mechanical hard drive, you will notice that your computer over time is starting to slow down and you're thinking, oh, I need to take it to get it repaired because it's not going very fast. What's absolutely happening to my computer or laptop? So here I am. I'm trying to explain to you what solid state drives are and what they're used for. So in this episode, I've got a load of solid state drives. I've got a mechanical hard drive and I've got a very small like PCI solid state drive, and then also the really big, really fast and expensive ones. Haven't got with me right now, but if you check that link in that description there, you can check out the OCZ PCI SSD super fast, one of the fastest drives I've ever encountered, and you can have a look at that. But let's get on with it. So what is solid state drive? What's it used for? What's so different from a solid state drive to a normal hard drive, which is a mechanical hard drive? So this solid state drive has no moving parts inside it at all. And heat throttling and all that sort of stuff is not an issue with this drive. Whereas with this drive, it has a mini disk in there that can actually write to the actual disk that's in the mechanical hard drive, which is actually the thing that takes quite a long time to read and write. So let me explain to you about read and write speeds. So read and write speeds are how long it takes data to read from a computer, and it also depends on the speed of the drive as well. So we're going to come back to that later on, but we're just talking about read and write. So writes acts the same way as reads as well, because it needs to write the data onto the actual drive itself, if that makes sense. So if I've got this drive here with mechanical drive, this is quite a slow drive. It will read data, which means that you're reading data by looking at it visually, and you're seeing all your data on this storage drive. And because it's on this storage drive, you want to write it. And what it means by writing it, you want to, obviously you could use a USB stick and plug the USB stick in, or an SD card which you've taken some photos or video of, and you want to put it on this drive. So that means it's got to write to this drive. And depending on the speed of the SD card or the USB stick, it will write to this drive. And that's simple what read and writes mean. But now let's get a little bit more interesting. Now this drive is a slow drive. The SD card could be a really fast SD card. And when you're going to do read and write speeds from, I was taking pictures, it was really quick, excellent, and you're ready to write to the actual drive. Now, because this drive is slow and it's a mechanical drive, you will notice that it will take a long time from the SD card, all the data information, to go straight onto this mechanical drive. And this is why you need an SSD, because an SSD is a hell of a lot faster. Now, this has got no mechanical moving parts at all, and it can run to a high performance. It can run at 530 megabytes per second read and 510 megabytes per second write. So that means that it's really fast. But what's this like speed then? This speed's like not even nowhere near. So let's make this a bit more simple. If I was to get my SD card and transfer the data onto here, it should take around probably half hour. Now, if I was to put it on this, it would take a couple of minutes, literally 2 minutes. Now you can see the total performance over this performance. This is not really performing, but it's good as a storage drive, so don't get me wrong, still very good. But SSDs are the way forward. So let me explain what else an SSD is used for. So if you're going to be gaming, rather than having a mechanical hard drive is going to be a little bit slower. It can have tearing in the screen and all this sort of stuff. And we're so far in the future now, so we've moved into SSDs. But we're not just moved into SSDs, we've also moved into PCI SSDs, which I also said, check that video link up there, because that will explain the performance from that to what it is from this. But this is affordable now, and it comes in so many different sizes, which is pretty great. So I would normally have like a 240 gig to start off with as an operating system, and to use it for pictures and internet and stuff like that. And that means that everything's going to be super fast. So you could have this drive where you have the internet and your game, and when you game it's going to be really slow and sluggish, and it's going to take long to get to the boot up time to start your game, and then it's going to be you want to go on the internet, and when you're on the internet it's going to be taking a long time for the pages to read and write data back to the hard drive, and then it's just going to be, oh my god, how long is it going to take? But with this drive you literally could do everything what I've just said in a couple of minutes, and then still go down the road and have a drink on me. So the difference is why you should have a solid state drive is because it's much faster, it's much more affordable now, the performance is so much more than what it used to be. And the thing is, you can get them in all kinds of sizes. You can get them in 240 gig, 480 gig, 500 gig, 750, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and they go up and go up. And the good thing about it is that it's not so expensive, but you're getting so much better performance. You don't have to wait around anymore. So if you've got a really fast super duper camera and it's got a really fast SD card in it, or you've got a USB stick that someone's given to you and you need to get data off really quickly, have an SSD. You can use this still if you want to save on your mechanical hard drive. You can just have this as a backup storage drive, which is great, and then you can just have it as an archive. But when you really want to do some workflow, especially to do with video editing and studio work with music and gaming and graphic design, you need really an SSD for that sort of stuff, especially for CUDA cores on your graphics card running really fast. And then you need an SSD, obviously can keep up with the speeds. Ring, 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 ring. Yeah, hello. Yeah, Roger, can you help me? I've got a problem. What's your problem, mate? Well, the problem is that I need to get an SSD. I've been told about an SSD is really great performance, really worth the money to get right now, and it doesn't have any mechanical moving parts. Plus, it's really quite quiet, and it's really small, 2.5 inches. Okay, right. What sort of help do you need then? What size should I get? What's the difference between SSDs? There's so many different manufacturers. Which ones can I actually trust? So I told my mate down the phone now, who I'm speaking to, and I said to him, well, what's your budget? How much money do you have to pay for an SSD? And he goes, I've got around 100 to 125 pounds. I was like, okay, well, what do you need SSD for? Well, I've noticed that my computer is slowing down, and that's what I've got told by someone else. And I basically went in the shop, but I'm a little bit confused. So is there any way that you can help me with obviously the sizes and the speeds and the different manufacturers? So I said, yes, no problem. So what are you looking at the moment? Well, I'm looking at Crucial, Toshiba, the really top end Toshiba one, and looking at Toshiba, that one there, which is the mediocre one. So he goes, okay, I've got this, and like this one's really expensive. This one's not bad in price. This one's really expensive as well, but it's by a known manufacturer that's really knows what they're doing with SSDs, and it works with different technology. So I said to him, okay, no problem. What else do you use it for? I'm going to use it for gaming. I'm going to do a little bit of video editing, and that's about it. Probably go on the internet. Alright, okay, no problem. Right. Well, so what drives can you see in front of you? 60 gig, 120 gig. Do you know what? I'm going to go for the cheapest one, he said to me down the phone. And I said, no, don't go for the cheapest one, because technically if you go for the cheapest one, you might not have enough storage. You said you want to play games. So then I actually said to him, what kind of games do you want to play? Do you want to play like games that you play on your phone, just on the bigger screen? He goes, no, I want to play like Battlefield and Halo and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well that's going to take up a lot of gigabytes on your solid state drive. So I go to him, is there a drive that's at least 240 gigabytes? And he goes, yeah, but it's slightly a bit expensive. And I said, well, it's going to be a little bit expensive because obviously you're going up in storage drive. And he goes, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. I can get 260 gig drives, 260 gig solid state drives. So 2 of these, 60 gig each, 120 for £50 each. Yet there's this drive that he can buy for, let's see, this one's 120 gig and this one costs £125. And then he said to me, why is that more? Like £25 more. And I said, well, maybe it's just a different manufacturer. Then we got into a little bit more detail, then realised that this drive was actually faster. And the reason why it's faster is it's got better technology in it. That means that the read and write speeds were slightly more improved than what this one was. So, after speaking to him down the phone, a little bit of a few details, trying to keep it basic as anything, I told him to go with this drive because it was slightly cheaper, but it had 2 solid state drives, and it was still like quite good performance for the money, and it was budgeted than what this one was. Now, if he said that he wanted to do more professional work, then I said to opt with that one because it was a lot more faster. But to keep the price down and still get great value for your money, I told him to go for that one. So, after speaking to him down the phone, he was like, great, that's excellent. Then when he got home, he put SSDs in there, and he had one storage, like 60 gig for his operating system, and anything that he wanted to like look on the internet and stuff like that. And then he had another one to back up his games, instead of just having one solid state drive, which means that he would, if anything went wrong with that one solid state drive, it means he would have lost everything. And now he's got 2 solid state drives, so that means he's got one for operating system to still keep going, and he's still got one for his games. So I said bye bye, and he said thanks for your help. That's as simple as it is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Roger's Crucial Tips. So there's going to be some more on a bit more intermediate and advanced levels, but we just want to get the basic stuff out of the way so you can follow where we are going with these SSDs and this RAM and stuff like that. Oh yes, check out that video as well about Roger's Crucial Tips about the RAM. That's pretty good, about basic stuff if you're new to that sort of stuff. And yeah, I can't wait to really get onto the intermediate and advanced stuff so I can get to my level, because basic is really great, but I want to obviously share with everyone out there my knowledge. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike it, you know what to do, and don't forget to subscribe for more content and videos like this. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.